Hello everyone, it's Amy, and I'm just here to show you how I make flower centers out of beads. And so there's a lot of tutorials out there on how to make them, so I just thought I'd show you how I do it. There's a lot of them where it's all glued, and I've tried that and I have a really hard time with that. I make a mess and they look terrible. So I just put mine together with wire. But these are just some that I have made, and you can make them with, these are little shell spacers on this one. And these are the rondelles, which are just the little, they fit a bead on each side. They work really nice. They kind of roll around the bead. This one is done with bead caps, and these are a flat bead cap that I just really loved the way that stuck out spiky. Here's one with bead caps that fit right around the beads. And you can do them with no spacers at all, just all beads, and they look very pretty. So it's just whatever you have. I have some where I put a bead cap in the center and then put a flower in it. This one I glued and I didn't do a very good job of gluing it. This one I wired in. Whoops. And so you can make them all different sorts of ways. I'm going to do some with bead caps and some with spacers. I even have some without, they don't have a bead in the middle, just a flat back, just different flat backs. There's a little crystal flat back and the other was a pearl. So I have some where this one has a bead cap, a silver bead cap on top of the center bead. So you can make them all sorts of ways, but I just thought that I'd kind of go ahead and bring you along. I needed to make some because I was watching Scrimping Mommy, Amanda's video on making shabby flowers, and I couldn't help myself to make some more. And so I didn't have any of my centers that matched the flowers I made, so I need to make some centers. I've chosen some beads and some bead caps, some rondelles. I just have some silver wire here, and this silver wire is actually, sometimes when you need a wide piece of ribbon and you have the wired ribbon and you pull the wire out of it, well, I just keep mine, just kind of wrap it around your fingers and give it a squish in the center, and it's pretty easy to undo because it works great for a lot of different things. So let me put my glasses on, and we'll just start right here with the pink one. And this one I'm going to make with bead caps. And first thing that you want to do is kind of put a loop or something in the end of your wire, just so that your stuff doesn't fall off the other end. And all we're going to do is put a bead cap on each side of the bead. So first bead cap, make sure that you put your wire through the center. It's easy with these being all lacy. It's really easy to kind of go off center. So, and then it will look funny when you get done. So make sure you get right through that center hole, and make sure that you have one bead cap facing the bead and then the next bead cap the other way so that it's facing the bead. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a bead cap on that's not facing that bead because it's going to face the next bead. So you just have it so that you have a bead cap cradling each side of your bead. And don't forget to put the next bead cap when you get to the, you get this bead on and you get a cap on each side, and then you always want to, or I always want to reach for another bead. So don't forget, bead cap facing the new bead, and then the new bead, and another bead cap. Whoops, my flower is so shabby, I'm getting a piece of it there. Okay, now don't forget another bead. Now this one I am going to do with 5 beads, and I'm doing it with 5 beads because the bead that I have to go in the center is the same size as these beads. If you do 6 beads, then your center bead needs to be one of the next 2 sizes up. So if you're using 8 millimeters, then you need a 10 or a 12 millimeter bead for the center if you do 6 beads. If you do 5 beads, you can get away with, I keep wanting to put just 2 bead caps on. Then you can get away with using the same size bead in the center as what you've used to go around the edges. It's just the biggest. If you use 6 beads, you have a bigger space in the center. Okay, so now we've got our 5 beads on there with a bead cap on each side of each one. So we're just going to grab a hold of that. Make sure that we've got a length of wire to put our center on, and we do. I'm just going to grab a hold of that and give it a twist. And you want to grab close to your beads because you want to tighten it up. And you don't want your twist to be way out here. So there we go. There's our 5 beads. Now we're going to put in our center bead. So I'm going to cut off this short piece. And then come around from the bottom, come up through the center, and grab my center bead. Now this center bead, I chose really large bead caps that when you put one on each side, like this, they basically cover the whole bead. So just to make it a little different than what was on the edges. And so I'm going to go bead cap, bead, bead cap. Making sure that I get it in the center of that bead cap. I can't tell you how many times I've had to take one out because I wasn't paying attention and I got just off that little hole just next to it, and you really can tell. Okay, there we go. So there's our center bead with the bead cap on each side. And we came through right here, so I'm going to go across. You know, it's 5, so there is no exact center, so just go across either way. And wrap around the wire and come back up through the center so that you can catch that wire. That's what's going to hold our center in. And give that a bit of a pull. This is a really thin wire, so you don't want to pull too hard. Okay. Push my bead cap around that bead. And there, that looks good. I'm going to go around there one more time, just to make sure that it's nice and solid. Just go up through the center, come between those same 2 beads. There we go. And then it's a little bit wobbly, and this is the only place I use hot glue. I do glue a circle of material to the bottom, and that really solidifies it so it doesn't move. And then what I do is I just take my excess wire and I just kind of curl it up in the center. If I have a whole bunch, I cut it off. But that way, if you cut real close to where you just wrapped it, you've only got 2 wraps, and there's a chance that it could come unwrapped. So this way, when you glue it, the glue is going to catch that wire and it's not going to go anywhere. And so there's our first bead cap, and that's going to go in our pretty pink flower. And again, I learned the flowers from Amanda, Scrimping Mommy. And that one is going to go right there. And I think that looks really pretty. So I'm going to stop for just a second, and I will be right back because I can't upload more than 10 minutes very easily. Okay, I'm back, so I'm going to do the purple one next. On the purple one, I am just going to use some really thin 0.4 millimeter gold wire because my rondelles that go around it are gold. So I am just going to, this is actually, I think that piece of wire is going to be too small. So I'm going to take just a little bit of a longer piece, probably like about 1 foot, maybe 16 inches or something. Uh-oh, I knew that was going to happen. Wrap this back up and clip it back in there before it really takes off on me. There we go. Alrighty. So on this one I'm going to use rondelles. I have some little gold rondelles with clear crystal beads. And I need to put a loop in the bottom of my wire so that it doesn't fall off. So on this one, just like the bead caps, we're going to go rondelle, bead, rondelle. Because the rondelles cup each side of the bead, you don't need 2 of them, you just need 1, because they have an indent on each side of them. So this will be quicker. But I don't know if I said it already, but if you want to just go to the end, at the end I will show all 3 of the flowers with the centers finished. If you don't want to sit and watch the whole thing. But this is just easy bead, rondelle, bead. So But I hope that you're all having a good day. I'm having a good day. It's beautiful outside. Of course, and I'm inside, but it's actually kind of hot to be outside. But the sun is shining and it sure does feel good. So, and that's as easy as that is. The rondelles are easier. And even easier yet is if you just do beads, then you don't have the spacers in there. So we're just going to, now on this one, because the rondelles cup the beads, I'm going to go through the bead one more time, just come out the other side. There we go. And then just pull it down here and go around through to the bottom. It just helps for those rondelle, for that last rondelle to fit next to the bead versus having the twist right next to the rondelle. So then I'm just going to twist that wire together, keep it on the bottom, and it looks a little misshapen, but then when you're done, you just go through and you shape it into your circle, like that. So I'm going to take my short piece of wire and cut it off. Make sure it doesn't go flying, especially since I have a puppy that eats absolutely everything he can get his little mouth on. Okay, so I'm going to come up through the center. Almost have too long of a wire, but I hate to cut it off because, alright, that's enough, you guys. Come up through the center, and now this one, because I did do 6 beads, I do have to have a larger bead for the center, or otherwise it will just fall right through if I use the same size. I pulled that up through the center, but I pulled the whole twist up there, and I don't want that, so I'm going to push that back down. And I'm going to put this bead on. Like that. And because this one does have 6 beads, you can go straight across with 3 beads on each side to keep your center bead right in the middle. And I'm going to just come up around there, give it a pull, and do that one more time. Come up through there, and give it a pull. There we go. I'm going to push that bead back up a little bit. There we go. I think that looks pretty. And then I'm going to take my wire. Now this wire is kind of long, so I'm just going to cut it a few inches. Just wrap it up and push it into the center. And then when I glue my bottom piece on, that'll just be held in there, and then I won't have it. I was just saying that we just wrap that wire on there so that when we put the material on the back, it'll hold it all together so we have no chance of it coming apart. And so I'm just going to do the last one here real quick. And this one I'm using gold wire again because I chose gold rondelles with a maroon type crystal in it. And these will just be, I'm doing 6 beads because I do have a larger center. And again, it'll just be bead, rondelle, bead. So, sorry that the camera quit. My daughter just called. She wanted to make sure everything was okay. We haven't talked for a little while, so it was good to hear from her. She's just opening a new restaurant. Not her restaurant, so she's the front-end manager, and it's a brand new restaurant, so they have been busy, but everything is going really well for her, so that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It felt like it was too many, but it's not. So we've got 6 of each. And then just like the other one, we are going to go through the center of the very first bead that we put on and then pull that together. Bring it down around the bottom. Make sure you've got it pretty tight. And give them a twist on the bottom. And just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to cut off my short piece so it's not in the way. And whenever you cut wire, you should hold on to it. There we go. I'm going to come up through the center and grab my large bead. I thought this one was kind of fun. This bead with the little swirls on it. Because this one is just all of the, what do you call that? Yeah. Oops, I forgot. Put it through the bead, and then we're going to find straight across, and we're going to go straight across. You want to make sure that your holes are on the sides like that so they don't really show. You're going to go right there and then come back up through the center. We're going to do that twice. But if you're a subscriber and you're watching, please check your subscribe button and make sure that it's not red, because I just found out this morning that I have been unsubscribed to someone that I used to watch all the time, and I don't know why YouTube did that to me, but Ruth was talking about Crafty Irina having a video up, and I thought, why didn't I see that video? And when I went and checked, I was not subscribed to her. So yeah, if you're a subscriber and you want to be subscribed, please check and make sure that they haven't unsubscribed to you. And if you're a new watcher and you like what I do, please subscribe. I would appreciate that. And there we go. That one is done too. And that's going to go in the center of this flower. So I am going to cut a little bit of my excess off. And I don't get rid of my excess. I use that for dangles. If it's long enough, just put some beads on it and put a loop at each end. And you can use it for dangles on charms or anything like that. So just have a little box that you keep it all in. And there we go. So I'm going to really quickly upload this part of the video, and then I will come back and we will put the circles on the bottom, and I'll show you what they all look like, because my phone is going dead, so I'll be right back. Okay, so we'll just get these all finished up now, and so all we have to do is put a circle on the back and attach them to our flower. The easiest way to cut a circle is to start with a square, and then just start in the center of one side, and as you are cutting, look to where you are going, the center of the next side. As you get there, look to the center of the next side and just keep looking where you're going, and you wind up cutting a really easy circle. Now obviously they're not perfect circles, but it gives you a pretty good circle. So there we go. And now all we want to do is just attach these to the back of our little flower centers. I just kind of give it a push right into the center there, and voila, there we go. You don't want to put too much where you push your glue up through your beads, but you do want to kind of give it a little push there so that it catches everything. I'm just going to put some glue on there and attach that one. Give it a little press, just hold it for just a second. And then we'll do the next one. Give that a push into the center. And it kind of will hold, just kind of hold everything where it belongs. Put that one in the center there. And then finally, our last one, which actually, I made a circle, but it's an awful small circle, but it will still work. And there we go. So here we have it. We have our orange one. And then these are made with gauze. And I saw Betsy Doodle make these a long time ago. So that's what I chose to make my little shabby flowers with. But there's our flower centers, along with all of our glue strands. And thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope it helped someone. And I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.